you start us off with your opening statement? Coach?
Yeah, hopefully this is quick because I'm going to run up the campus. There's 9 minutes left in the first half of the women's soccer game against that team down the road, right? First round of the NCAA tournament, 0-0, 9 minutes left in the first half.
Yes.
KFD coaching them up. I'm proud of our guys. I obviously coming off a game, the magnitude of the one the other night in terms of the height. You worry a little bit about human nature, whether it be some sort of letdown, but that just goes against everything that we believe in. We prepare for South Carolina State the same intensity that we prepared for the team down the road, the same way that we prepared for this game. And I thought our guys were phenomenal in preparation. They were on details. We had a couple great days of practice. And, played against a good team tonight. I've known Jeff Bowles for a long time. Kind of came in the business at the same time. He was an assistant at Ohio State when I was at Wake Forest and then at Xavier. Kind of both became head coaches around the same time. And they run good stuff. They got good players. They got an older team. I think their point guard is a really, really good player. And, I thought our guys played hard. 44% of our misses we got back, which is great. 12% turnover rate by us, which is great. 68% assist rate, which is great. On the defensive end, I think there were ebb and flows throughout the game. There were some times where we let our foot off the accelerator a little bit, but our guys caught themselves. I thought at halftime, it was great GBT in the locker room. That stands for great basketball talk before the coaches ever got in there. And even down the stretch when there was 4 minutes left in the game, the guys were aware of where their points per possession were. And they were like, man, let's get that down, which means let's get 3 stops in a row and get it from 1.06 and try to get it to 1.03. I don't know what it ended up, but I love that type of stuff. Coach Bowles gave our team a great compliment when I talked to him after the game, and I agree with him. He said you have a very, very, very unselfish team, and I would agree with that. We give up good for great. Guys understand that we got great depth. They cheer on their teammates. They support their teammates when they go in the game and they come out. It's fun. That's what our goal is to have the #1 culture in the country, but you never arrive at that. It is constant vigilance in everything you do, including the next practice when we get together in a day or so. So overall, fortunate to get a win, proud of our guys, and excited about the opportunity to go up to Cincinnati and play against Coach Miller and the Bearcats. It'll be a big-time non-conference game.
Logan Adams, mid-major basketball. Coach Bowles talked just about how grateful he was to get this bye game against you guys. Bye games are something that's not happening as consistently with top-tier programs like this. Tell me about just the process of scheduling a game like this, especially at.
Yeah, I mean he's got a hard job because the way I'm not going to get all into scheduling science and the metrics and the net and all that stuff because that I just don't want to talk about all that stuff. But for a team like that who's like in the 100s of KenPom, that's for a Power 5 team like we are, like those aren't the ones that you like run at. You just don't, because they're really good. And unfortunately, the way the net works, I might have this wrong, but like if you play like a team that's in the high 300s, it's unfortunate, but like you got to try to beat them by 7,000. And that stinks, and I don't like that. I don't like when you're up 30-something points, you don't have your walk. But that's how it is. That's how the formulas work. And when you play a team like this, like I was a team in the 100s for several years when I was at the mid-major level, and it was hard for us to get games. It's hard for them to get games because you're going to play against a really well-coached team that older veteran guys. They have 4th and 5th year dudes. They have a really good point guard. They have a good scheme. And if you're not on it, a team like that will come here and bust you in the mouth. Those kids weren't afraid. They were gritty. They were tough. And they got our best shot. You know, we had the ultimate respect for them. So as much as he appreciates the game, I appreciate him because I have a lot of respect for him and how he coaches and how he runs this program.
Jody.
Pat, Jeff was talking about the letdown. He was saying he was hoping he might catch you on a little bit of a letdown, but he said he thought the maturity. How much is that a factor when you've got guys that are so much older? I know you can preach it and preach it and preach it, but to go out and do it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the older thing. What's their competitive makeup? You know, I mean, we got some young dudes over there that have that same mentality. Like, we're intentional about, in the recruiting process, about a lot of things outside just the X's and O's and the measurables and things like that. Like, all those other things matter to us. You know, how tough dudes are, how competitive, their basketball IQ, and they love their teammates, and they make people around them better. And, you know, I came in guns a-blazing the other day. The practice after, we had our first meeting, and we were cleaning up stuff because we got together early in the day so that we could put the last game to bed and then just focus on these guys, because we were only gonna have 2 days prep because we had a day off after the game the other night. And, you know, it was like, you know when you just get that sense, I thought I was gonna go after and just be on everything, and then, no, those dudes were leaning forward, they were finishing my sentences. I just got the sense right away that we're good. They're gonna be in a great frame of mind, spirited, competitive practices. And they gave these guys the ultimate respect because it was the most important game in the history of Louisville basketball.
Rashawn from Seattle.
It was. It really was.
Absolutely. Coach Bowles commended the team for just the fact that you guys play at such a high pace, but you still took care of the ball. You talked about the 12% turnover rate. How important is it that you keep that turnover rate low, playing at this speed? And is that more just based on the system? Is it the individuals? How important is that?
Well, I mean, that plays into, there's 4 big factors to winning basketball on the offensive and defensive end. It's effective field goal percentage, it's free throw rate, it's it's effective field goal percentage, it's free throw rate, which is your field goal attempts per free throw attempt, or vice versa, offensive rebounding percentage, and turnover percentage. How many points, because points per possession are everything, and ours was like off the charts tonight. It was like 1.2, 1.3, something like that. How many points do you get in that possession when you turn it over? 0. That's an empty possession. So, I mean, it's no secret in every game. It doesn't matter if it's football, it doesn't matter if it's basketball, whatever it is, like, turnovers are bad. I think the back of your bubblegum card says a lot about the type of turnover team that you're gonna be. If you have high turnover guy, now sometimes you'll take a high turnover guy because he is extraordinary in other areas, but that assist to turnover ratio is important. And our guys, I mean, the other night, I thought that was a big key to the game, that, you know, we had high assists, low turnovers, and did the same thing tonight, valuing that basketball. We always say, I read this one time, the ball is the program. That's the program. All the stuff you got going on, that basketball on that floor is the program. Value the program, value the basketball.
Pat, why was it important to you to have those advanced analytics put up on the scoreboard so you can
notice
see
it?
live?
I was waiting for somebody to notice it.
Well, I also noticed that you added free throw rate. It
Well,
wasn't
for a while, I mean,
first game.
the people around here are ridiculously awesome. They are awesome. Like, our game ops people, everybody that runs the Yum Center, they kill it. Like, something goes wrong, they fix it right away. I mean, they are intentional. They are 25 strong. They are elite. But, like, I looked up and it was all zeros, and it like went haywire, because technology's great until it isn't. Right? So it goes off, and I'm like, man, I need to see points per possession. I need to see turnover rate. I need to see offensive rebounding percentage. And I think they got it in the under part of the scoreboard. So we came up with that idea like hours before our first game. And I was like, hey, can we get in their, you know, our crew? And they're like, we'll figure it out. And they like brought NASA in, and they were like, all around, and figured out some way to get it up there. And then it went haywire tonight, and I felt like I was like, my head was spinning like Linda Blair in The Exorcist.
Do you have a standard, like, points per possession? Like, is there a standard number that
I
you
mean,
want to see?
basically,
for certain things?
You want to be above 1 point per possession offensively. You want to hold your opponents in a perfect world below. So if you look at KenPom, like your overall rating is your points per possession. You just multiply times 100. I mean, if like our guys know now, like if we have a game where we're like 1.2 or higher, like they know we were cooking with grease, right? And if we're holding it, that, to me, that's way more important than the old school. The old school stats. Now those old school stats play into those things, but the big four. It's the big four on the offensive end, it's a big four on the defensive end. If you win 3 of 4 in those things, you're gonna win most of the game. It's effective field goal rate, it's free throw rate, it's turnover percentage, and it's offensive rebounding percentage, and then it goes both ways. So I think it'll be cool for our fan base to start looking at those because there's such a advanced basketball mind fan base. Like we have a really smart basketball, like I got 20,000 assistant coaches up in the stands that know what the crap they're talking about, which is not great sometimes for the head coach. But I thought it was pretty cool that we put it up there. I think a couple NBA teams did it last year, and Jonah got wind of it and just said that we thought it would be kind of cool.
Yeah, Kobe was in here and was talking about just the pace of play, and he said that you guys are still trying to harp on them to play even faster. You guys are ranked 23rd in tempo on KenPom right now, so I'm just curious as to like what like faster looks like to you.
Faster, just
how
because
much
you
that
play
helps.
fast doesn't mean you shoot quick.
Right.
But like the pace from whether clapbacks, getting the ball out of the net, getting in, getting down the court, or on misses, tilting the floor, getting downhill, just putting pressure on the defense early. But we're gonna hunt great. We're gonna hunt great. If that great happens in the first 3 seconds of the shot clock, great. If it happens in the last 3 seconds of the shot clock, great. But just because you shoot fast, play fast doesn't mean you shoot quick. But pace, ball out of the net, get it up the floor, tilt the floor, defensive rebounds, 5 guys running. I'm just a big believer that in coaching, it's not what you teach, it's what you emphasize. You can't emphasize everything, but that's one thing we truly emphasize. Guys are graded on every single transition. If your job was to get it out of the net, get it in, did you do it to our standard? If your job was to run to the corner, did you run at breakneck speed? Or did you jog? Or did you stop and coast into the corner? They're human beings. There's pilot error constantly. Nobody's going to be at 100% all the time. But it's a fun way to play. That's why I talk about, like, you look at Michael was hooping. You talk about some of those other guards that decide to go somewhere else, fine. You come to Louisville, we're going to hoop. We're going to have fun. We're going to play fast. We're going to share it. Why wouldn't you want to play here?
Steve.
Yeah, first off, Pat, congratulations on getting out of this game unscathed, without an injury. Secondly, piggybacking on what Brooks was talking about there, I think you guys are one of the 15 teams averaging, more than 100 points a game. Obviously, it's early, but do you think that's tied to, an importance of, coaches realizing an importance of analytics? Is it the net? Is it a combination of those factors, or
What?
The net ranking? You were talking about.
It's not about the score and the net ranking. It's just be efficient. Be efficient. Be efficient on the defensive end and those 4 big factors. Be efficient on the offensive end and that big factors. There's different ways to do it.
Mhm.
Coach Bennett won national championships playing a really slow pace, but his efficiency was off the stinking charts on some of those teams. It's not what you teach, it's what you emphasize. There's a million ways to skin a cat. There's a lot of different ways to play. We think this is the best way for us to play, and we recruit to our style, and we try to be as efficient as possible in those areas. But we don't go into the game going, hey, we got to hit the net. It's just be great in our process, right? How do you have a high offensive rebounding percentage? You pursue the ball every single time. How do you have a good turnover rate? You value the ball. How do you have a good effective field goal percentage? You execute your stuff, and you hunt great shots. You take enough good ones, enough of them are going to go in at a pretty high percentage. Free throw rate, get fouled. It's the most efficient shot in the game. We were 44% on our free throw rate today. That's ridiculous. The other end, we fouled too much. You got to keep them off the free throw line. You want to keep your opponent from doing what is most efficient. Free throws are efficient. We got to guard without fouling. It's hard. You ask them to play really, really hard, but you got to guard intelligently also.
Rashawn, last one.
Coach Isaac was in here and talked about one of the main draws to coming here was his opportunity to show more of his game.
Yeah.
You said you didn't want suburban jump shooters. You went down there, had 2 big blocks,
Big
had the
blocks.
athletic finish at the rim. Just kind of talk about his development this
Yeah,
year.
I mean, that's why he came here. He wants a hoop, like, be an all-around player. Attack the rim, get fouled, score at the rim, make threes. We have this thing called hard plays on the ball that we chart. And if you have an opportunity to make a hard play on the ball, that might be a loose ball, right? Ball's on the floor, did I make a hard play on the ball? Did I dive on it? Did I put my teeth on it before the other team did? You get a 1-for-1 or 0-for-1 for that. If a guy gets a clean shot at the rim, are we letting him shoot it, or are we going to try to, we call it beat it up, right? And those were a couple of open layups, and they saw a ray of light, and Isaac just went in. He's an athletic cat. That was 2 big-time hard plays on the ball, and I thought it gave us a ton of energy on that. But yeah, I mean, Isaac's a really good all-around player, and I think he's having a ball playing in our system.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Soccer.